Gil-Galad is the new Witch King. This commander is absolutely crazy and is able to walk through multiple armies at a time while taking very few losses of his own. A lot of people have been asking me how to counter Gil-Galad, so I figured I would make a video about it. I will be doing another giveaway of 4 season passes to go along with this video. See the description of this video for the details on that. And those season passes are courtesy of my sponsor, Codashop. And this video is sponsored by Codashop. Allow me to introduce you to Codashop, a platform that will allow you to top up your accounts in most or all of your favorite games. Codashop partners directly with some of the largest publishers in the business to allow for a quick, safe, and seamless purchase experience when buying in-game items or currencies. Codashop's partnerships allow them to immediately send your purchases to your account, just like if you're using the Google or Apple stores. They even support sending gifts directly to your friends. Using Codashop is quick and easy. First, go to Codashop.com or use my affiliate link in the description of this video. Next, select the game that you wish to make a purchase for. Fill out the required account information, select your top-up, choose your payment method, and enter an email address where you'd like to receive a receipt. And you're done. Topping up your accounts has never been easier, and thank you to Codashop for sponsoring this video. Welcome back, everyone. I've often told people, in my opinion, the first step to understanding how to counter a commander is to understand what makes that commander good, and that way you can kind of counter their strengths and or take advantage of their weaknesses, because if you understand why they're good, you probably will understand why they're not good or which areas they are not strong in. So let's go ahead and start things off by talking about the most popular Gil-Galad build that I have seen. I will go ahead and admit that I do not have Gil-Galad, but just about every other player on my server that's on a good faction does. So I've seen a lot of Gil-Galad reports, and I think I have a good understanding of why he works and how to play around that. Most importantly is Kingly Kin. This title is absolutely crazy. It gives all elven units a ridiculously high chance to evade damage for the first 2 rounds. When they are evading damage, they're not taking any damage at all. For those of you who don't know exactly how evasion works, instead of your attack hitting them, your attack just doesn't hit them. Awesome, right? Additionally, people usually go ahead and pick up Exorbitance to boost their unit's damage a bit more, as Gil-Galad is a commander that relies pretty much exclusively on his units doing damage. Most people throw at least 1 point into Icicle because it hits 2 enemy targets and will guaranteed stun them for 1 round. This goes off every 3rd round. So having some amount of anti-stun in your army can be, or I should say, some amount of anti-stun on your commander can be helpful against Gil-Galad, although it's not as important as it is against like Gandalf the Grey and the Witch King, who just start off every single combat by stunning pretty much everything in sight. Then we'll move on and talk about High King. This is just a flat damage received as well as an HP buff for elven units. Pretty much everybody takes 15 points in this. 15 points in Elven Leader to give Elven units follow up, which allows them to attack twice in a round. There's a chance that happens. And we have points in Chaotic Retreat. So all in all, there's only one true mitigation skill, in my opinion, on Gil-Galad, and that is High King at 15%, hitting Elven units. Kingly Kin is like a pseudo mitigation skill, I guess I would call it. It only lasts the first 2 rounds of combat, and it's avoidance / evasion, so it's not guaranteed to go off like Elven Leader, or sorry, like High King. You just always get that 15% damage reduction. And then people will throw some extra points into Icicle, potentially Dazzle. I've seen some people messing around with White Council if they have extremely high respect Gil-Galads, but generally speaking, you're going to see Kingly Kin, Exorbitance, High King, plus both of the skills attached to High King, as well as Icicle and Dazzle. So he's a super high damage output commander because elven units do a ton of damage, and he gives them a chance to get follow-up. Also, people generally build him for full ranged damage or a combination of elf damage and ranged damage. So let's talk about some ways to counter him. In my opinion, I'll actually pull up his skill tree just to point this out. In my opinion, the number one weakness of the current most popular Gil-Galad build is that it is extremely reliant on evasion and gaining a very significant early lead in the initial 2 rounds of combat. After the first 2 rounds, the points in this are effectively wasted. I mean, 15 points for 10 defense, that's not a great point investment. I'm not saying people shouldn't put points in this. I'm saying if you can exploit Kingly Kin, you can make them waste their points in effect. You can't really play around High King because it's just a flat 15% damage received modifier. Currently in the game, there's nothing that just gets around those type of modifiers. So without Gil-Galad's early lead coming out of these first 2 rounds, I think that he is a significantly weaker commander. That's not to say he's a weak commander by any means. I just think this is his number one strength, but also the number one skill that you can exploit, the number one thing about him that is exploitable, and that's the fact that it is avoidance, and that can be countered. So we'll move on to talk about a few ways to counter him. I guess I'll just leave this nice little battle scene playing in the background. So I will say that for evil factions, he's actually, I was going to say a bit more difficult to counter. He's quite significantly more difficult to counter than he is on good factions. Number one way, in my opinion, is Wizard's Fireworks with Hunter's Mark. A lot of good side commanders can make use of ranged units. This has a nice combination of focus, army attack ranged, and the Hunter's Mark trait, which for the first 3 rounds, and that's all you need against Gil-Galad, because his evasion only lasts the first 2, you have a chance for all of your units and your commander to gain Pursuit. Pursuit is an effect that completely negates the target's evasion. If they have evasion/avoidance and you have Pursuit, then you just get to completely ignore the fact that they have that evasion, and you will hit them every single time if you have Pursuit. Now, the reason I say this is a bit more difficult for evil factions is because the only evil race that can equip the Wizard's Fireworks are evil men. For good factions, pretty much any commander that you will want to use, I guess except for King of the Dead, since he's undead, will be able to equip the Wizard's Fireworks. That's why I think it is an excellent choice. This trait also shows up on the Harp of Lorien. So same exact thing. The Harp of Lorien, in my opinion, is worse than the Wizard's Fireworks because it doesn't give you any army attack, and gaining a little bit of army speed isn't particularly exciting. However, elves can use this, whereas elves cannot use the Wizard's Fireworks. So if you are going to be wanting to fight if you're going to want to fight Gil-Galads with an elven commander, maybe Legolas, for example, combining guardians with a handful of sentinels with protect elves, then Harp of Lothlorien may be a good choice for a commander like that. And as far as yellow items go, I'm going to pull up my chest here. There is an even better accessory, although it is a yellow accessory, which makes it more difficult to obtain. The Night Star, and I talked about this with my friend Thanatos in my Theoden video. The Night Star can have an effect which guarantees that your units get Pursuit every single round. Whereas the Fireworks and the Harp that have that Tactical Mark, or Hunter's Mark. Sorry, Hunter's Mark is the one on those. Tactical Mark is the one on this. Hunter's Mark is just a % chance. It does go up to like 90%, so it's basically guaranteed. But a Night Star with Tactical Mark, even without refining it, even without gold stars, you could just have this blank Night Star on a commander. It will guaranteed give your units Pursuit every single round. It's particularly good on Rohirrim commanders, in my opinion, as they can make better use of the speed stat. because they have the Rohirrim title and cleave and some other skills that scale off of their speed. For the evil factions, Palantir of Orthanc, which isn't going to show up in my list because this is good faction items, that item can also get that same attribute, but it is a gold item and not everybody is going to have access to it. So that's why it's a little bit unfortunate as far as the evil side itemization options. And next up, we'll talk about which commanders can potentially counter Gil-Galad. Again, evil gets kind of screwed in this area, as good side has relatively easy access to a wonderful skill called Foresight. It's attached to the guide tree for the first 4 rounds. Remember, Gil-Galad's evasion is only the first 2 rounds. For the first 4 rounds, all allied units, this is not applied to the commander though, all allied units have a chance to gain pursuit every single round. This wonderful skill is on Haldir, Faramir, and Celeborn. I would recommend Haldir and Faramir unless you're playing as Lothlorien, and I would really only recommend Faramir if you have his unique item. So if you're going to use Haldir, I would completely skip the beast training and using eagles at all, because Gil-Galad is most likely going to show up with 2 ranged units, potentially 3 ranged units. I've even seen from time to time. Those ranged units would shred eagles. You don't want to worry about wasting the points and wasting the gold on eagles. Just go for more points in R5, more points in forest agility, potentially armed escort, but make sure you take Foresight. That way your army will get pursuit. Same thing on Faramir. I did not click Faramir. This is Faramir. He can also take Foresight. Faramir is a bit less strapped as far as skill points go, but he's also a better candidate for running the Wizard's Fireworks because Haldir is an elf, which means that Haldir cannot use the Wizard's Fireworks, unfortunately, for him. So on Faramir, I would basically just save yourself 7 points, give him Wizard's Fireworks with Hunter's Mark, put those 7 points into something like Nobility to boost up your damage even more, and make sure that you have his unique item so that in those first rounds of combat, you actually will have initiative against Gil-Galad. So the combination of initiative and pursuit and the damage boost from guide will hopefully help you out snowball Gil-Galad. Do keep in mind that if the Gil-Galad has absolutely ridiculous gear and your Faramir doesn't, your results may be not as successful as they otherwise could be, because that is how gear works in this game. As far as evil side goes, to the best of my memory, I do not remember any commanders that have Foresight or any sort of anti-evasion skill that gives their units pursuit. If somebody can please fact check me on that down in the comment section below, that would be appreciated, as I don't want to say something that's absolutely not true. However, I do believe that that is the case, which is why I think that evil struggles significantly more against Gil-Galad than good factions. Alright guys, hopefully that gives you some good insight on how I think you can counter Gil-Galad. Let me know about your results against him down in the comment section below. Catch you in the next one. Phoenix, over and out.